Hello, everyone. So this is part two of toddler language and literacy development, and we're going to begin to talk about literacy development with toddlers. So I'm hoping that you agree that reading books with children helps develop their language skills. By reading books, we can increase a child's exposure to language. Stories that rhyme are very helpful for teaching speech and language skills and can help children discover a love of language. Engaging children's imagination by reading books that expand their knowledge of different concepts, or, like we discussed, the reality versus fantasy. But it can reading stimulates imaginative play, a primary way that children learn about the world, and it introduces children to things and places they may not have had a chance to learn about otherwise, such as oceans or dinosaurs. Helping children work out their feelings about the world is another way that reading with them can help them understand different cultures, different nationalities, right? Many children's books are on topics that can open up valuable discussions between an adult and a child. And examples are books about sibling rivalry, nightmares, or even dealing with difficult emotions. So when you're selecting a text for toddlers, you want to look at the content. Toddlers will continue to enjoy books with familiar characters, but they also will begin to take interest in pictures filled with information, action, and detail. You want to try some short stories, cause and effect stories, and fictional books that describe a problem or circumstance to overcome. Language. You want to use some predictable books with repeated text, words that rhyme, and pictures that correspond to the text. Books with songs and repetitive verses are still a good choice for this age. Toddlers can enjoy books with paper pages, right? But you still will like books with a picture on every page and just a little bit of text. And you'll know if you start introducing books with longer text, if a child is able to sit and engage with that text, then you'll know that they're ready for books that have a little bit longer text. You can always have a book with a longer text and just abbreviate it and not read every word that is on the page. Reading aloud. Let your toddler decide if he wants to sit on your lap while you read or next to you on the couch or a floor. And follow the child's cues. Talk about the characters and events in the story, relating them to the child's own experiences. Pause when you read aloud to the child and fill in a word or a phrase. Possibly explain the illustration. And this works great with rhyming and repetitive books. So try these successful reading tips for reading to infants and toddlers. Snuggle with the child with their favorite blanket or toy, even in the classroom. You could create, a cozy spot and have the child bring their stuffy, or maybe if it's time for nap time, you're sitting next to their cot, and make it a real comforting, cozy time around reading. Read with expression using different voices for different characters. Emphasize rhythms and rhymes in stories. Give the child opportunities to repeat the rhyming phrases. Use pictures to build vocabulary by varying objects and their colors. Use pictures to develop speaking vocabulary by talking about what is shown in the illustrations. Encourage your child to repeat what you say or comment on. Encourage the child to ask questions. Provide models of interesting questions and examples of possible answers. You can say, I wonder what is going to happen next. I think the rabbit will get lost because he's not paying attention to where he is going. What do you think? Look for books that are about things that interest the child. For example, Does a child like cars, insects, animals, a type of food? Make reading a habit for the classroom. Have time during free play, have time during large group or small group. You should be reading at least once a day in a halftime program. If you're teaching in a full day program with toddlers, you should have on your schedule at least 2 times that you're reading together. During free play, make sure that books are available. And this is the time where you're going to look for those cues in a child who may not be able to communicate that they want to read a book. They may be over by your library area. They may bring a book to you. Or even sometimes, I found when a toddler enters the classroom and they are unsettled, and there might be a favorite book or topic, maybe it's a new book that you brought into the classroom. You offer that chance to read together as a way for the child to enter into the classroom before they have to engage with other children or multiple of adults, right? It's just a really soft way to have a moment of togetherness with the child before they have to enter into this more larger group. So again, you're wanting to give children a chance to choose their books. If the toddler chooses a book that is too long to hold their attention, read some, skip some, discuss the pictures and how they relate to the story. Read stories over and over. Toddlers enjoy repetition, and it helps them become familiar with the way stories are organized. So reading aloud to toddlers is so very important. It's important to read aloud throughout education. I mean, as an adult, we should be reading aloud to each other. There's something about the intonation, and maybe that's why audiobooks have become so important or so available for adults, because we love to be read to also, right? So again, you're wanting to read in small groups, trying different types of groups, using volunteers in your classroom is a great way to help volunteers become familiar with children by having them read to them, right? Share read aloud tips with families. So important to continue to read aloud when children go home. So when you're reading to children, you can model how you interact with books, right? Physical manipulation of the book. Where's the top? Where's the bottom? Where's the front of the book? Where's the back of the book? Language and understanding and use. Toddlers' use of story language during the interaction. You're wanting to really promote the interaction with the book. Do you see the boy walking through, the forest? Do you see the rabbit? Emergent reading, that these skills indicate that the young child is understanding how reading works. That there is the front of the book, right? We begin and then we turn in English language books. We turn pages from right to left. The social and language interaction helps toddlers understand and comprehend text. It's really the beginning of understanding that books have language that is different than conversation, that there's something on the page that means something, and that it is usually correlates to the illustration. So that's it. Have a great week, and let me know if you have any questions. This is a great topic, and if you are working with children and watching their language and literacy develop, it's just a really exciting time, and really a privilege to be part of their journey.